Rajesh Hamal, one of the prominent and very famous actor of Nepali.
Oh. The train, they come at 6:21 and not 6:21 30 seconds, you know. By the way, I'm only 25, but I've been in the movie industry for 30 years, so you do your maths. So when I started off 30 years ago, we were hardly making any films. And when I did my first film, and it was received so well, what I sensed, what I learned from that film, my very first film, when people received it so well, and we were very raw those days, you know, here in Nepal in making films. What I sensed is, people here, instead of looking at the technicality of the film, the presentation of the film, what they really look for is the human aspects in the story of the film, in the characters of the film, whether they can relate to that character or not in the human ground, knowingly or unknowingly, whether they can identify with the emotions that the story is portraying, whether they can identify with the emotions that the actor's character is portraying. And that is what draws the audience to the movie theater. And I realized that right from my first film. And from the second film onwards, my main concentration was always, no matter what kind of film I was in, you know, I've been in good, bad, and ugly films, but my main concentration was, how can I reach to the common people through my characters, through my stories, more than concentrating on how I can present this well, or how I can, you know, make it a very polished films. I just attacked it very rawly, and I said, no matter what kind of presentation and technicality and what kind of director's you know, level is, what I'm going to do is, through my characters and the story, I'm going to reach out to the people. And that's what really clicked. And today I'm so happy and so proud that after 30 years of being in this scenario, in this film, more than the fan and the artist relationship, what I have with my audience is like one of the families. I travel extensively within Nepal. I go to the mountains, I go to the east, I go to west, I go to the Tarais. And the way people welcome me, not as an actor, not as a fan, not as a crazy fan, but the way welcome me as a member of their own family. And that is very important to me. That is something that I cherish a lot. And that is all because of trying to touch the human side of people. Because the humanity is the only thing that we all have in common denominator. It's only by concentrating on the human aspects of us where we can find a common bondage, where we can unify us, where we can see our fellow human being as ourselves, and thus arises compassion. Otherwise, if we look for differences and we forget the most common aspect that exists in all of us, if we put that in the back seat, then what do we see? We only see the differences in us. And the differences appear in so many respects. It appears in our appearance, it appears in our mannerism, it appears in our languages, it appears in the way we do things, go about in daily chores. So many differences. But if we put that aside and start looking at the human aspects of all of us, then what do we see? We see that we are all one. And if we concentrate on the human aspects of ourselves, that is the only way we can unite the entire humanity together, irrespective of where we live, what we do, what religion we follow, what languages we talk, or what kind of appearances we have. That will not matter at all. So humanity is the utmost importance, and that is the only way that can sustain a humankind for a long, long, long run. Otherwise, at the end of the day, what is going to happen is we're just going to be at each other's throat. even when we're doing good things. Because our good things is just concentrated on a particular community. It's very rarely that our good things, whatever good things we do in different parts of the world, is universal. So even to protect our good thing, it's an irony. To protect our good things, we intended to be violent against the other person, or the other group, or the other community. Because what we're thinking is, it's only what we are doing is good, so in order to protect our good, we must be ready to do anything. So if we forget this humanity aspects of us, which is the only factor that can unite us and keep us together, even the goodness that we do will still be at each other's throat. In order to protect our religion, we'll be against the other person's religion. In order to protect our kind, we'll have to be against the other kind. So there will always be this tribalism existing, and we always will be in confrontation with one another. So it's only after putting that thing aside and concentrating on our humanness, on our kindness, on our ability to see other people as ourselves, irrespective of where they come from, is the only way we can reach perfect harmony in humanity, I think. And that is the only way that we can have a peaceful existence as well. And I couldn't agree more with the princess. When, if there's an economical disparity in the society, one section of the people are constantly dissatisfied, hunger, and destitute, there's no way we can attain peace. Because the basic needs of humanity has to be fulfilled in order to preach and practice peace and humanity. If a person is hungry, he's ready to kill another person for food. Just a simple fact is food. You will see people killing another person for nominal amount of money. I've known cases in a very great country, developed country like America, where people have actually killed another person for, forget about $10, $1. So this will just exist. And that is not because he is fond of killing another person for $1. But that $1 will buy his needs. And his needs always comes in the front. So unless his basic needs are not met, there will always be disturbance. There will always be violence. So it is very important, especially the other section of the society who claim to have, to take care of their brothers who don't have. If you want to maintain peace, if you want to create a sense of humanity universally, and this is where philanthropy comes in, compassion comes in, kindness comes in. Otherwise, the tribalism will always exist, and as long as people are divided into different tribes, peace and humanity can go down the drain, That is something that we cannot attain at all. So it is wonderful to be here. Let us all strive for peace, humanity, be compassionate, have sense of empathy for one another, and that is the only way to sustain the human race. I have tried my level best. I don't know. I don't claim that I have succeeded a great deal, but in my day-to-day life, in my way of reaching out to other people, I always try to apply that, and also through my profession, because a lot of people think that being in a film, being an actor, you're in a totally different world. No. It's a field where you've got to have sense of compassion and sense of empathy. So even my profession, humanity aspect is a priority. So thank you very much for inviting me.